It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the UNC Charlotte 49ers Associate Head Coach, Coach Taylor Wike. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college softball?
Yeah, when I was pretty young, I was probably in high school. I knew I wanted to play in college, and just my experience of growing up with some really awesome coaches who put me down a path to get where I am today, kind of set the stage for that and made me want to impact players the same way that they impacted me.
Of course, what was it like going to Carolina Tar Heels and playing for the UNC Tar Heels softball program?
Yeah, it was awesome. I spent 4 years there, and it was an awesome place. There's some great people, and it was an experience that again shaped me into who I am today, and I'm extremely grateful for it.
Of course, how was it like getting to put on that Carolina blue jersey and represent UNC Tar Heels softball?
It was fun. It was an experience that I had dreamed of since I was in 7th grade. That was a dream school for me, and so putting on the Carolina blue, being from North Carolina, was awesome for 4 years.
Of course, what were some of your playing accomplishments throughout your Carolina career?
Personally, I made all conference all 4 years. My senior year, I was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and on top of that, we made regionals 3 out of 4 years there, and it was a time where the program was kind of on the rise, and we made a regional championship my junior year, which was exciting. And then, like I said, senior year we didn't make postseason, but I was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year that year.
Of course, what was it like learning as a player under Coach Papa?
It was an experience that you can't really explain. To learn under a Hall of Famer and to learn from someone that's done it for as many years as she has. It was special, and it's something that I'll keep with me forever. And I think, being at Charlotte now, it's something that I look back to and remember my playing time there and playing under her. And I've learned a lot just about treating people the right way, and how to show players that you care for them just based off of how she treated us.
Of course, how was it like playing in the rivalry games against NC State and Duke?
Yeah, it was cool. Actually, my senior year was the first year that Duke had a program. And so we only played the 3-game series against them, and we were 3-0. So I never lost to Duke in my playing career at North Carolina, which was exciting. And then the NC State rivalry was the same. Like, there's a little bit more that goes into those games than any other weekends.
Of course, how was it like leaving college and getting into college coaching?
It was different. I think you get the other side of it, and you get some perspectives after you graduate of what you were like as a player, and you understand it from the other side of that things are a little bit more difficult on this side than you give credit to the coaches as a player. And so getting into it, I think just transitioning from the player to coach thing was a cool experience. And I think playing in college really helped set me up for success to be where I am now.
Of course, how is it like going to South Carolina Gamecocks to become the volunteer assistant?
It was an interesting transition for me. I'd actually decided that I was going to stay at North Carolina after I graduated. And that summer, South Carolina's volunteer had left. And so I went up for an interview. I was down in Alabama playing and went up for an interview one weekend, worked a camp, and decided that I wanted a little bit of change of scenery to learn from Beverly Smith and that staff at the time. And it was awesome. Being in the SEC was a great experience. And again, was just something that taught me a lot of things before I got here at Charlotte.
Of course, how was that like going into the SEC and learning under Beverly Smith?
It was awesome. And again, same thing as learning under Coach Papa, that you're just super grateful for the people who pour into you and care about your development as a coach. Coach Smith or Coach Bev had recruited me when I was in high school, when I was really in middle school, probably, to North Carolina. So I had known her a little bit before. So getting the opportunity to work alongside her was special. And I still know that both her and Coach Papa would be there if I called them today for anything. So two really great people.
Of course, how was that like? Obviously, as you said, you got recruited by Coach Beverly, and then obviously after your playing career, you get to go coach with her.
Yeah, I was really young when she was recruiting me. I think, like I said, I was in 7th and 8th grade, and they were just coming out to watch at that time. And so I was going to camps, and so I knew who she was. And so as a 7th and 8th grader, you're a little bit intimidated by those people, and then going alongside to work with her. She's an awesome person. And so I got to see it from, a little bit of a player side, but then working alongside her, she's even more awesome in person than she was in the recruiting process. So I enjoyed that experience.
Of course, as a volunteer assistant, what was it like obviously getting to coach against those big teams like Georgia and Florida?
Yeah, it was, I think playing those teams day in and day out every weekend in the SEC is a grind, and it helped me as a coach learn to scout and prepare to play teams like that. And so I think that experience is what led to some of our success here at Charlotte in terms of, Ashley, myself, and Jody all coming from programs that we've played against some really high level teams. And so when we play those teams and compete against them every day here, that we know how to prepare for it.
Of course, how did it help you when you played in a big conference and then you got to coach in a big conference to now coming to UNC Charlotte to get to coach finally as a full-time paying coach?
Yeah, I think, that experience is something that you can't really describe again, but I think bringing the mindset here to Charlotte that it's no different here. We're going to compete against those teams every day. And I think if you just look at if you look at the records, we've beat a lot of those teams that are in the prestigious conferences. And so I think being in those conferences, though, gave us an insight to it's not a lot different than being here. And, at the end of the day, we have really awesome players here that can compete at that highest level, even though we don't have the conference logo next to our name. But I do think being in those conferences set us up for success coming here.
Of course, how is it like coming to UNC Charlotte 49ers to become the assistant coach first?
It was awesome. I'm originally from North Carolina, so my family is about an hour from here. So I've never been over 3 hours from home, which has been a blessing. And my family gets to be around. They get to come to every game. And I'm just super grateful. The campus is amazing. As a player, I had never really taken in what the campus was here. And then when I came on campus, when I first got the job, I knew that it was something special and that we could win here.
Of course, as you said, how important is that obviously your family is so close by, from seeing you play at UNC to now coaching at UNC Charlotte?
Yeah, it's indescribable. It's something that I think, years from now, I'll look back on and be so thankful that I got to play in front of them almost every game. And then also they get to come as much as they want to watch us play down here. So I'm grateful for it. And, it's nice to be able to see them whenever I want to, but it's also a good distance to where I'm still, on my own.
Of course, how did it feel to become the associate head coach and get promoted?
It was great. I'm super thankful for Ashley and Chris Thomason and Mike Hill and all of them for, promoting me this summer and elevating me to that position. It's something that I didn't really come to Charlotte expecting. And then we're 3 years in, going into year 4. And to get that is just, it makes you feel super appreciated. And Charlotte's home for me. And so it's somewhere where I want to be for a long time.
Of course, going into year 4, what are some of the things that you've accomplished at Charlotte as a coach?
Yeah, I believe it was year 2. So year 1 was the COVID year. It was a half season. Year 2, we won our division in the conference, and we've broken a lot of offensive records here. We've done a lot of awesome things, but we haven't gotten to the marker where we want yet. It's just breaking through that door of getting to postseason. So that's the next step for us.
Of course, what is it like getting to coach in the Sun Belt?
It's, we're actually in Conference USA right now. We're transitioning to the American next year. And it's, the top of our conference is elite with us in North Texas and Western Kentucky. Those are 3 regional teams, in my opinion, every year. And so it's a challenging conference. I think the pitching in our conference is elite. If you just look into the numbers, I think that's where our conference strives in. And I think it's only elevating as we move to the American in a year.
Who are some of the teams that you're going to be facing in that American conference?
That'll be Wichita State, South Florida, Houston just left, and those guys, but that's in the conference with, I think, South Florida and Wichita State are the 2 teams that go to postseason most years. So those are the teams that we kind of have our eyes set on to beat in year 1 when we get in that conference.
Of course, what is that going to feel like, obviously, to play those teams in year 1 of the new conference?
I think it'll be exciting. Our girls are excited. I know the recruits that we've been talking to, and some recruits that are signed to us and committed to us, they're excited for the challenge. And with the American conference comes, new facilities and things like that. So our program's only elevating while we're moving into that conference.
Of course, what is it like, obviously, playing those non-conference teams close to the North Carolina area?
Yeah, that's something that's special about Charlotte, is that we're in an area where even if teams aren't close, really good teams, that they want to fly in, and it's, the weather's good. February through May are as good as it can get at that time of the year. And then you've got teams like Duke, North Carolina, NC State, Virginia Tech, Clemson, South Carolina, Tennessee. Like, you could just keep going down the list of teams that are around here who put themselves in the top nationally every year. So we're grateful to be in Charlotte and to have an opportunity to make a schedule that's challenging every year.
Of course, as a coach, what is it like, obviously, coaching against your alma mater of Carolina?
It's every year the girls get a little bit more excited for that game. I don't know why that is. I think they know that I want to win that game probably more than anyone. It's not a rivalry game for us, or for me at least. I think it is for them. But it's a special game, coaching against Coach Papa and Chelsea and all those guys. It's a fun game to play. And, we went there 2 years ago, and then they came here this past year, but it's always fun. It's a game that we enjoy every year.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you started to help build for the Charlotte 49ers softball program?
Yeah, we talk a lot about culture here, and not in the sense of like we're trying to build a culture every year. I think, the culture of your program is going to build itself based on the people that you bring in. So we're always trying to recruit really great people that are going to come in, and they're going to bring what they bring to the table. And in return of that, it's going to build a culture that we're proud of. Our girls know that we're here to win, and that they show up every day, and that's the goal, is to get better. But they also know that we're here to set them up for success in life after college too. So I think when we talk about culture with them, we talk about the people and how they build the culture, not something that we're going to necessarily put 4 words on a board and try to get them to buy into. Because at the end of the day, they are who they are, and they're going to bring that to the table every day.
Of course, what does a typical game day look like as a coach and a player at Charlotte?
As a coach, we get here pretty early to start setup. We'll set up for scout in the mornings, and so the girls will come in, they eat breakfast that we provide, and then they get dressed. We go into a scout meeting that, Ashley talks about the hitters from the opposing team. I'll talk about the pitching and that stuff. And then we'll go into our hit warm up after that. And then game day for us is routine. And so the girls know at what time everything's happening. And so it looks the same every day. And it's a good experience for them to, they're in such a routine every day for game day that it becomes just pretty simple for them.
Of course, how has it been like obviously getting to coach the pitchers during the game?
So Ashley actually does the like our pitching, but I coach the hitters on the other opposing team's pitching. And I've learned a lot over my going into year 4 here. I think it's exciting to see when the light bulb comes on, when they go to the plate and they actually execute what they were trying to do, those types of things. And as they develop in our program and develop in our system, they only get better at that. And so it's rewarding to see them grow throughout their career here. But in game, it's also, I think it's a challenge, and I think it's fun each game to try to figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to win each at bat.
Of course, what are some of your future plans moving forward in the program?
Yeah, I think for us, as a staff, we're always going to keep recruiting. We're going to keep recruiting really good players and really good people. As a department at Charlotte, we're super supported by our athletic department, and we have a video board that's going up in February this year. It's a big thing for us. And then we will also break ground on our new locker room and team room at about the same time. And so that will be there a year from this January. So those are some exciting things going on in our program, just plan wise, outside of, continuing to develop players.
What does the recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to play college softball?
It's nice now because we get to recruit them a little bit later than it used to be. And so we can't talk to them until their junior year of high school. And so for us this fall, we'll be continuing to recruit 24s and starting to make a list of 25s, which is, I think it's nice for the kids now because they're not, in 8th grade and worried about where they're going to school. They can worry about development and getting better for that junior year when the time comes. So this fall, we've had 24s on campus all fall, and that's what we're heavily recruiting right now. And then we'll move on to the 25s and 26s in the next year.
Of course, what does the official visit look like for Charlotte 49ers softball program?
I think the official visit here is special. Obviously, we have an awesome campus and we have an awesome hitting facility that we can show. But on top of that, after we see campus and, we'll hire a photographer, we'll put them in uniform, do all that stuff. And then we get to take them to Uptown. And so we get to show them the city and let them experience that. And so we'll go to a nice dinner. We might ride scooters around the city and go get ice cream. It's kind of varies kid to kid based on what they're looking for in their experience here. Some of them want the city and some of them don't. So, we're 20 minutes from the city, so we can intertwine that on a visit, or we don't have to. But I think the city, being able to have that and show that off with the Panther Stadium and the Knights Stadium and all that in Uptown is special when we bring kids on official visits.
Of course, what are some of the things that you look at in those prospective student athletes when on the road?
Yeah, I think overall, just athleticism is a big thing for us. I think we watch the way they move. If they move well, then we're going to be able to continue to improve them when they get here. And then I think, honestly, we talk to the travel coaches a lot about how they are as people, because that's a big thing for us, is that, are you going to fit when you get here? Because when you take over a program, you always have, we had great people since we've been here. But I think the piece for us was getting people who were going towards the same goal. So we want to make sure that every kid we're bringing in is on the same mission and is here for the right reason. And that's number one, to get a degree, and number two, to win a lot of games.
Of course, as you said, with having 3 professional teams and stadiums, what is that like, obviously, seeing those recruits see those stadiums for the first time, as they probably have never seen them before?
Yeah, it's always nice when you bring in an out-of-state kid to Charlotte, because the campus always amazes them when they're here, and then you take them to the city last, and that's kind of the cherry on top for us. It's just, it's something that we have here that not a lot of other people can provide. And so I tell people all the time, like, we can't move the city, and you're not going to take the city anywhere else. So, that's something that we can sell big time. And I think our current players enjoy it a lot, that on Sundays they're off to go to the Panthers game. They get to go to a Knights game on Friday night, all of that. So it only adds to their college experience here.
Of course, as a coach, what is it like coaching in such a big city as Charlotte, as you do have professional teams around you?
I think it's awesome. I think we have a lot of support from surrounding entities here. And so it's, you're not somewhere where you have to drive 30 minutes to do anything. You can drive 2 minutes and pretty much get any food you want around campus. And then just being able to, on the weekends, kind of decide what you want to do. If that's that you want to go one direction and be in more of a, outer Charlotte part, or if you want to go to the city and go to a professional sports game, if you want to go to a concert, which is 5 minutes down the road from campus, or in uptown, it just, again, it adds to your quality of life when you're here, to give you so many options of what you're going to do with your free time.
Of course, as a coach, what is it like seeing those recruits get to put on that gold 49ers jersey and fall in love with their colors?
It's exciting. I think we get kids on campus, and they always enjoy putting on the uniform. I think that's a highlight of the experience. And so we try to save that until closer to the end. It's usually on day 2 of an official visit that we'll do that, because we want them to fall in love with the campus. We want them to fall in love with the people in our program. And then when they put the jersey on, it is a special time of, okay, this could be real. And I could actually represent Charlotte for, whether it's a transfer for 2 years or a high school student for 4 years.
What advice would you give those athletes that are looking to go and play college softball?
I think just understanding that everyone has a different path, and everyone's path is different. And so, not putting the pressure of, I have to be committed by October 1st, because September 1st was a month ago. You see all the time kids committing in the fall of their senior year now, which is completely different than it used to be. And I think there's just a lot of pressure from outside people of, you have to be committed or it's not going to happen. I think there's a right fit for everyone. And so if whatever that fit is for the athlete, that they can find that if they put the time in to do it.
Of course, what advice would you give those college athletes looking to play professional softball, whether it's Athletes Unlimited, Team USA, or even internationally?
Yeah, some of our kids have asked about that in the last 2 years, and I think it's a cool moment for our program, is that we have players, like Bailey Vanoy and Corey Henderson, now Corey Hoffler, who are starting to ask about those opportunities and what it looks like. And so my advice for them is just, continue to work and continue to get as good as you can be while you're here. And then those opportunities are going to present themselves when we put your name out. But I think if they don't see it as a possibility, then it's never going to happen. And so we try to talk about it. I try to, ask them if that's something they're interested in, because I think, in the past at Charlotte, that wasn't an option, and it wasn't promoted. And now with Athletes Unlimited and there being some other options out there, there's more opportunities. And, for our student athletes, I want them to feel like they can do that, because they belong in those settings. And so, hopefully in the next year or so, we'll have our first kid playing in one of those leagues.
Of course, what advice would you give those college athletes that are looking to go into college coaching after their playing career?
Yeah, I think take the work that you put in as an athlete and times it by 4 would be my advice. And how much do you really love the game, right? And it might not be that you love the game of softball, but it might be that you love developing people, or you might love, the interactions that you're going to get with the players and seeing them grow in the sport. But I think understanding that you have to love some aspect of it on an extremely high level to stay in this for a long time, because it's a lot of hours. I won't say it's a lot of work, because it's fun every day we're here, and some days are tough, but you get through those days because of the days that you see the light bulb go off, that you see the kid take the next step, whether it's on the field or off the field. So just an understanding of it's going to be a lot of hours, but if you love it enough, then you're gonna put the time in to help the athletes.
What advice would you give those future college coaches looking to get started in coaching in college softball?
I think it's just, surround yourself with the right people would be my advice. Being around Coach Papa, Coach Bev, Ashley, and all the people that I've just been around in my short time. This is going into year 5 of just being in college coaching. And so it hasn't been long, but I have 3 really awesome people in my corner, along with some other, assistants in those roles that have been really influential. And so I would just say, making sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people, and you're surrounding yourself with people who are doing the things that you want to do. When I came to Charlotte and interviewed, Ashley's big thing was that we're going to win, and we're going to win at a high level. And I knew that was a place that I wanted to be, because that's what I wanted to do. And so it's been, these 3 years have been nothing but amazing, solely based on the fact that our staff is on the same page about what we're trying to accomplish here.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
My Twitter is Taylor_Wike_. And then my Instagram is just Taylor Wike. So it's pretty easy to find me on social media.
Thank you again, Coach Taylor Wike, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as you begin this next journey as the UNC Charlotte 49ers Associate Head Coach.
Thanks so much, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Taylor Wike, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.